Well, it looks like fireworks arrived February 9th in Washington, D.C., many months prior to the typical July 4th celebration. Specifically, they came in the form of Republicans on the House Oversight Committee and former Democrat Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard utterly blasting former Twitter executives for their secret and partisan censorship over everything from the truth about the Hunter Biden laptop to the truth about COVID-19 related matters. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. You know, one of the most critical GOP members to probe the former executives in this House committee hearing was Lauren Boebert, the Republican of Colorado. She pounced on Yoel Roth, the former head of Twitter's trust and safety team. And she also took on Vijaya Gadde, Twitter's former chief legal officer. As Brandon Morse notes for Red State, Boebert directly asked these two if Twitter had ever shadow banned her, i.e. reduced the visibility of her tweets. Their denials led her to reveal her trump card, her knowledge, and her evidence. That knowledge and evidence available thanks to the change in Twitter operations under new CEO Elon Musk.
Well, let me refresh your memory, because on March 12th, 2021, and Mr. Roth, I know you looked at it because Fascist Twitter 1.0 had a public interest exceptions policy, which means for members of Congress to be shadow banned, it had to go before you, Mr. Roth. So I'll ask again, did you shadow ban my account? Yes or no?
Again, not to the best of my recollection.
So the answer is, Mr. Roth, yes, you did.
Roth's fidgeting and denials were useless, since Ms. Boebert already knew the truth. Writes Morse, quote, she had the information that they had indeed silenced her, and over a simple joke she'd made about Hillary Clinton being angry she couldn't rig her election. Roth's response, according to the information provided to Boebert, was to place a 90-day filter on her account so she couldn't be found in searches, and prevented notification for non-followers.
This is considered an aggressive visibility filter. You silenced members of Congress from communicating with their constituents. You silenced me from communicating with the American people over a freaking joke.
Notes Morse, quote, during these hearings, Roth claimed he was surprised by the visibility filters put on elected officials, but Musk revealed that claim to be absolutely false, seeing as how Roth placed many of them there himself. And the elected officials weren't merely protesting how Twitter treated them. Boebert was in excellent and righteously indignant company beside Representative Nancy Mace, a Republican of South Carolina. Facing the Twitterati and focusing with fierce eyes on Gadde, Mace offered personal information to the mix, revealing an example of the disastrous effects of Twitter censorship when they censored valid medical dissent over questionable government COVID-19 policies, government jab propaganda, and much more.
Twitter worked overtime to suppress accurate COVID information. I, along with many Americans, have long-term effects from COVID. Not only was I a long hauler, but I have effects from the vaccine. It wasn't the first shot, but it was the second shot that I now developed asthma that has never gone away since I had the second shot. I have tremors in my left hand, and I have the occasional heart pain that no doctor can explain, and I've had a battery of tests. So my first question this morning of Ms. Gadde, may I ask of you, where did you go to medical school?
I did not go to medical school.
I'm sorry?
I did not go to medical school.
That's what I thought.
And for her sake, former Congresswoman from Hawaii and former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard spoke up about the team-up between federal government forces and social media, decrying the Orwellian tactics of all of them. And there was much more, culminating in former cop, now Republican Congressman from Louisiana, Clay Higgins, blasting the former Twitter crew, almost doing it as if he were standing before suspected criminals in an interrogation room.
You, ladies and gentlemen, interfered with the United States of America 2020 presidential election, knowingly and willingly. That's the bad news. It's going to get worse because this is the investigation part. Later comes the arrest part. Your attorneys are familiar with that. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to spend 5 hours with these ladies and gentlemen during depositions surely yet to come. But for right now, I'll yield the balance of my time to my colleague, Mr. Jordan.
That would be Jim Jordan, the head of the Oversight Committee and the main force behind calling the hearings on social media censorship and collusion with political forces within government. It remains to be seen whether these hearings will lead to anything more than these fiery statements. But they can serve to help inspire us, the other people who have been shadow banned, blocked, and silenced. It can inspire us to tell our friends and our colleagues, our loved ones, and our neighbors that we were right all along. Lives have been damaged by this political policing of speech, and it's important that the corruption be exposed. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Rumble. And of course, we always recommend that people go to Rumble because they don't censor us there, as opposed to YouTube. Censorship tube. And please share these videos far and wide. Give us the thumbs up, as I said, and find us over at Facebook as well. You'll find videos and commentary at the Facebook page for MRC-TV. You can find us all the time at MRCTV.org. That's MRCTV.org. And please consider donating while you're there. And of course, you'll find us on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Yes, on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter as @GardGoldsmith and on Gab, which doesn't censor, @GardnerGoldsmith. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.